All right, this is going to be video 2, just talking about chord shapes and the different locations for things and different ways that you can play different chords. There's like hundreds of ways that you can play chords, but just being able to find one little location with where your hand lands is a great way to stay in one location, play something different than what your other guys playing on the team, and then you guys can find yourself in different locations. This always feels like you're playing open chords, but just up the neck. And so I know some guitar players hate using a capo. They think that you're not a real guitarist if you're using the capo, but this will keep you from doing that if you care about that. So whether you're doing worship, which is what I'm doing, or something else, I think this could help anybody that's trying to learn some guitar. So we're gonna move down to the guitar cam, and we will look at this different shape. So the last video we focused on a different area of shape, kind of an E-type chord, and so now we're gonna start with like a D chord. So we're gonna play a G with in the shape of a D. So last video was here, and this is a open G. We're gonna actually start here. We're gonna make our D chord, but we're gonna modify this because we really want it to sound all together instead of getting that note in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our ring finger and then our middle finger on those. This is just for reference. You can't see the nut there. This is gonna start on the 8th fret or 7th fret, 8th fret, 7th fret again. So if you see that, that's a normal D chord, kind of played in a weird way. And then you add your ring finger up here. So it's always hard to see whenever you're watching somebody. So you're gonna bar the 7th fret, first 3 strings, add your middle finger, and do your ring finger there. Okay, on the 9th fret. So that's gonna be your 1. The last video, you can check out that other video if you haven't watched it yet. It might be helpful. But this is gonna be our 1 chord, which is G. And so we're gonna go through the chords. This is 1. We're gonna move to 4. And 4 is gonna be moved up 1 fret. So in your mind, you're thinking, I gotta move up 1 fret. So we're gonna move up, and then we're gonna move our fingers around just a little bit. So we're gonna take our middle finger and move it up to the G string, okay? That gives us our C, which is our 4 chord. And I think it's helpful to remember these in numbers because someday you're gonna move them, here, and you may not know all the chords for that. So you think the numbers, and you know the numbers of the shape. So we got G, then you move it up and move your 1 finger. So we can walk through that chord. It's on the 8th fret. You can still bar the 3 there. And then you add your middle finger to the G string. Like that. And then you add your ring finger to the 10th fret. Okay? So now we've got G, the 1 chord, and then you practice that transition. Practice that transition there to the 4 chord. Okay? And now this one is like the E type for the C chord, if that makes sense. If you're playing an E type bar chord, you chop off those top 2. Now you've got that. So that's your 1 chord, 4 chord. Now I always like to do 1, 4, 6, 5. So 1, 4. Now to get to the 6, we'll go back here. Go back down to our normal position here, starting on the 7th fret. And we actually want to do this chord, which is kind of like if you play an open, like a B minor. Feels like that. So you're doing that, and that is actually an A-type chord. Because you've got the A here with the minor. A-type bar chord. So the way we build that 6 minor chord, index finger on the 7th fret, middle finger on the 8th fret, and then kind of like an A minor, you put middle finger and pinky on the 9th fret. Yep, and you don't want to do this. I suppose you could if you want to, but that feels a little more comfortable. Okay, so that's our 6. So we've got 1, 4, 6 minor, which is the E minor for this particular key. And then our D is going to be in an A shape again. And sometimes I like to throw my pinky up here. I think they're, yeah. Sometimes I like to do that. If you're doing it this way, you can do it that way too. But to keep it in the same zone, you got to do it like this. Okay? So you're occupying just this location of the neck, and that's super helpful to not have to look at the guitar the whole time, and to better play some of these chords, especially for electric guitar. So, okay, so we've got the G chord, the 1, which is our root, and for the other one, there is a root note there. You can find your root note for this one and figure out where that is. So yeah, so we'll play the G there, the 1, C is the 4, 6 minor, and the 5. Okay, and then the last video, we did go over the 2 minor, and so if you're playing this one to get to the A minor, you basically just move it up a whole step, and then you have to make this chord minor. So you gotta do some stuff to it. So you actually have to do that, which is kind of a weird thing. That's a shape from our other chord position. Okay, so, and the reason why that one makes sense is because of how you're playing that. It's almost like the D, regular standard D, but making it minor and moving it up. Okay, see how we figured that out? So you're in the major scale, your second scale degree is always going to be a whole step away from your root note, G. So if you think about it that way, you can just move it up, 1, 2, and then you got to make it minor. So instead of major, make it minor. If that makes sense, it's kind of tough. You might have to watch that a couple times. It's kind of a weird thing to figure out. So then you've got 1, 2. You can always go to the 3, 4, 5, 6 minor. Yep. And so this just definitely has a different sound than the other one. So you can, like this. I think I played that 2 minor wrong. So, okay. So hopefully that makes sense. You can hit the comments for any questions, or if you don't understand something or you need more clarification, I can help out with that. But this is something that was the first one that I actually learned when I was playing guitar for a church in Joplin, Missouri, and I think that changed guitar for me in a big way when I was playing electric guitar. Instead of just hitting those open chords, I just had an opportunity to play something else that was helpful to the band still, but we're not all playing the same open G. And so you can also move those up and down the neck as long as you remember where your position is. Now you know G, so if you want to go A, you just push it up two half steps, and that will help you do that. It is helpful to think about the numbers, and as you think about the key of the song that you're looking at, trying to make those connections, begin to make those connections, and not have to totally trust that you know what chord you're playing every single time. I don't know if that's good advice or bad advice, but knowing those shapes and knowing where to go helps you get through some of those times when you're like having that panic moment and you don't know what chord you're playing. So, yep, and we will see if there's any other shapes we could do to continue to make progress here. So anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.